Go to your channel. There it is. Never mind. Four in here right now. Solid. Looks like there's 5 in
What is up, everybody? Hello. There we go. I like that a little better. Kind of rolled that intro a little better that time. What is up, everybody? Hello. Let's make sure you guys can hear me. If you're in the chat, I need to know if you can hear me. Connor will say he can hear me.
Yes. I'm looking at the live stream right now so I can read the comments, and it looks like you got a haircut.
That I did.
Looking sharp. I need to get a haircut before the barbershop closes.
Yeah, that's just what we were talking about in the pre-show, is that finding cheap alternatives today for things. I found a wireless hair cutter. Well, I don't know what they're called. Hair cutter? No.
Like scissors?
Not the scissors. Clippers.
Oh,
I should have thought of the basketball team. Clippers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 20 something bucks, but it was like a cordless like clipper, and I was like, oh, this changes everything. Like you never know how good your life is until you have something that's cordless. Like cordless vacuum. I have one of those. It's like, oh man, it makes
Oh, that's probably fantastic.
More. Yeah. Everything should just be cordless.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I remember I used to like mow my grandpa's lawn in like the 10th grade, and he had a gas mower, like a normal push gas mower.
The original cordless.
Right. But then he actually went backwards and he got an electric mower that had to be plugged in. Dude, it was so much worse.
I could imagine.
It was so bad.
Like,
it was so bad.
Does it come with the cord, or you have to provide like an extension cord?
I don't really remember. I just remember like not wanting to do it anymore when he got that.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, dude, the gas mower was so much easier.
I mean, the only plus side is, like, for instance, for us being in Florida and we have storms, like, you know, certain situations you can't like leave or go anywhere because maybe gas stations are shut down or you can't leave your neighborhood. Well, then again, you wouldn't be able to plug in the lawnmower, so I guess it would be no purpose of it.
Yeah, all it did, it was probably just cheaper is what it is, because you didn't have to keep buying gas.
Yeah, it didn't have to have a motor for gas and all the oil and parts. Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. It was just harder to push, pretty much. It was harder to push, and you had to like watch the cord and everything. So
yeah. What is up? Hello, Chris. It's funny we have
Chris and Dan.
Chris,
zombie apocalypse is coming. Yeah, pretty much.
What is up? Yep, zombie apocalypse is coming. Pretty much. I think this is about as close as we have ever gotten. I mean,
that's true.
As far as if you've been out and you've seen how like everything's empty or like there's no one on the streets, for the most part. It's almost like the precursor to The Walking Dead. Hey, how's it going?
It's weird.
It's going, I guess okay. Connor is, I believe, are you quarantined?
Yeah,
I'm
very much.
School. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much self-distancing or whatever, social distancing. So I work from home already. Yeah. I already did. Yeah, and so that's just kind of good luck in this kind of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then school is canceled. All my on-campus classes were moved to online. So I've been just cooped up in the house, which is good for the whole, I'm doing my part to stop the spread.
Yeah.
But it is definitely bad mentally.
Which is a funny statement of like, I'm doing my part to stop the spread. But it almost sounds like, well, do you have it? Like, like, are you spreading it? Like,
I don't think I have it, but there's so many people who have it and never experience symptoms. I don't know if that's really been put out
Yeah,
there that much,
that is the
but
scary thing. Or some
it
people I have heard, if you do have it, like you wouldn't even know for like it could be like days
it could be
or it
two
could be a
weeks.
week,
Yeah,
2 weeks, and you're like, oh, I got it. Like, oops, I've already spread
yeah.
it
So
around.
one thing, and I think this is kind of the media making it sound, and don't get me wrong, it is serious,
Hmm.
but not everyone who gets it is going to have the same experience.
Yeah,
So, like, some person might get a strand where they literally don't feel any sort of symptom at all,
they're sort of
and
like
so,
the host. They're just carrying
right,
it.
exactly, and some people will get it and maybe experience one symptom for like a few days, and that's about it. So experiences will vary, but the thing is no matter like what your experience with it is you're still just as contagious, right? So that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't want to spread it to someone because I mean I'm 23
Yeah.
and I don't really have like underlying health conditions or anything that I know of. So if I was to get it, like I'd probably be just fine, but I wouldn't want to spread it to someone who might not be. Is my main
And I thought I
rationale.
read something about like it can be spread. Well, you could almost give it to your pets as well, right? I think it can
Really,
be some sort of strand of that can.
I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Let's see. Interesting. How bad is coronavirus near you? I'm from New York, and it's getting worse. And 12 of my friends and family, wow, are infected here so
Holy
far.
crap!
Wow. I'm very sorry to hear that. Wow.
Oh, that's
Um,
terrible. I mean, I have a cousin that lives in New York, in the city. I know it's pretty bad up there, so definitely,
yeah, because you would think,
hope
especially
hope
like
it gets better.
in the inner city of New York, everything's it's more like compact, and
Oh yeah.
that's why I would think New York is on a lockdown situation as much as California is now. No word if that's going to spread, everywhere else to be on a lockdown situation.
Hmm.
It's looking like it's going to head that way if things kind of get worse from here. But I'm still going to work
Yeah.
every day. Yeah, I feel it. I'm still going to work as well. I'm not in the quarantine, get to, be sheltered or stay home
Hmm.
category.
Yeah, and I do think it probably will get a little worse before it starts to get better.
Well,
Um,
yeah, because
in terms of, I don't think. I mean, this may just be wishful thinking. I don't think we're gonna get to the point that like Italy's gotten to, just because we've had the advantage of like seeing what's happened
yeah.
in Italy and China. So I don't know if we'll get to there,
Well, also
but it is
because
gonna get worse
I
probably.
would think a lot of people are kind of taking the caution of, well, maybe I'll just be staying in, and also
Hmm.
with stuff being, bars being closed and stuff, it's
Yeah,
sort of helping.
I think the main thing is like if you have the ability to stay in, then you should. Like
Yeah,
obviously with like in your circumstance, like you do still have to go to work and you gotta do what you gotta do. But if like you're in a position like I am, for example, where my job is work at home anyway, and my school
oh,
has been moved to online, then I should stay home. There's no reason for me to go out.
wow.
But there are plenty of people who aren't taking it very seriously, which is very frustrating.
You mean like your your peers?
Yeah, like my spring
You
my
mean your
spring
spring
breakers. I'm sure
breakers?
we've all seen the video. Yeah, it's
That or the
those kids are pathetic. Like,
um,
uh,
what's the other thing? The challenge. I don't know if that is actually real or not. The I assume it would be called the Corona Challenge, where you lick everything or something like that. Remember, it was like a video.
yeah, I
I don't
saw
know if
that
it's
video.
real or
That
not, but
I hope not.
I wouldn't put it past
I just
anyone
can't
of
believe
this
people.
generation.
I just can't believe people. But no, there's people still going to like Miami Beach and like trying to party and stuff. I'm like, y'all are selfish because
Yeah,
for one thing,
that's only going to make
like
things worse.
exactly like, and then the other thing is like, if we can get everyone to just social distance now, it's gonna make this last like less long,
Yeah, it
right? So
would
you
be
just get it
done.
out of the way.
Yeah.
Just get it out of the way. You
Hmm.
know. which does relate to what you were saying there, Chris, about when do you guys believe the parks will reopen? How do you think it will affect HHN?
Yes, we will.
I don't know. I don't
See the
know.
pictures
I
of
mean,
which a
it's
lot of people aren't taking this serious. Yeah, I believe that.
uh,
Uh,
as of
um,
now, the parks are still, as far as what they've officially put out, they're slated to reopen at the end of the month. But
mhm.
I can't see that
I
happening.
don't see that happening as well. I believe that was sort of like, hey, we're just gonna kind of temporarily put a band-aid on this and see. We're gonna monitor how are things going. But given the state of how things have changed, like just 2 weeks ago, I didn't even think, you know, stores would have hours change or stuff would be closed down or stuff. No
Oh,
one thought that.
it's insane how fast things escalated. I mean,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, like um 2 weeks ago tomorrow, I think, was when I was at Mardi Gras for the last time.
Wow.
And then earlier that same week, I was at Disney for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and we
Yeah,
talked
that's
about
right.
that
It
on the
just
last
had
show.
opened.
And I was there with like no concerns really, because it really, I mean, it was bad in China,
Yeah.
but
It was kind of, it
I
was
mean,
known, but it was like, oh, okay.
and then things really took a turn. Um,
Which
and yeah, it's crazy where we've gotten. Um,
which is a
and I think,
good point. This is actual video from I was gonna say our Sith Lord. Way back. I believe this was from February, and you can see what he says about Corona, the Corona.
We have a situation with the virus. We've done a great job. The press won't give us credit for it. We have 15 people in this country that right now we brought in 40 from, these were Americans that were in trouble way outside near Japan. And we brought them in, and they're in quarantine, and they're getting better. That was 40 or 42. We brought them in, which I felt we had to do. So they immediately said, it jumped from 15 to an extra 40, a headline. And
Yeah,
everything.
because
No, we
it's
brought them
funny,
in, Jack,
right?
because if
It's
we
a funny
didn't, I
thing.
mean, we're not going to let something happen. We had to do it.
yeah,
And I knew
I
immediately
mean,
that the press
he was
would
talking
add
about
it
it
in
being a
and say
hoax,
this,
and
like it's
he was downplaying
catastrophic.
it. And
But
I
we've
mean,
done
I'll
a great
be
job.
honest,
Those people are all
I was even
doing
thinking
well.
like
They're doing very well.
the start,
I think it's
of,
an incredible.
you know,
Yeah.
but then I started to realize, I was like, oh man, this is this is crazy. I know a lot of people went out, not to like throw shots. A lot of people went out to like the parks on like that last weekend. And I was like, y'all are taking a big like I did not go near the parks like after that came out. But like I
Yeah.
did not go near. Like I know a lot of people went because they wanted to get like their last kind of experience in.
Hmm.
And I think if people, because I think people go 2 weeks without going to the parks like all the time, right? But I think people knew for sure. They're like, yeah, this is probably gonna be longer than 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So, but
Which
to answer the question, when do you think the parks will? I would say I don't really have a
my
good
best
answer. I'd
guess.
guess like June, like late May,
Oh
June
wow.
maybe.
I think we're almost thinking in the same ballpark because I know the CDC just recently, like in the last few days, have said the gathering of like 50 or more is not recommended for at least at least 2 months is what they were saying. Eight
And that was
eight
like a
weeks.
week ago, right? Or maybe a
Yeah,
little less than a week. Yeah.
and being that this has changed from almost every single day, there's something either new or something has changed, or it's either gotten worse or maybe a little better. So that could always change. It could always, for all we know, the parks could open up the second week in April, but I'm assuming it's going to be like mid-May or late May at this point,
hmm
um, at least before the summer season,
Yeah.
because that would really hurt everything.
Yeah, and I do hope it's sooner rather than later because obviously the local economy is gonna.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's already starting to suffer, but it's just gonna. I mean, the theme parks are Orlando is like
Bread
that's
and
like our
butter.
whole
Yeah.
economy. So it is a concern for sure on that front. And Knights of Horror says this virus sucks. Which it really does. Like it, dude. I was talking to my friend. I'm like, this virus has like ruined, like, because this year for me, like on paper anyway, was looking like pretty good. You know, I had a lot of like really fun stuff planned.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's looking like Rockville's probably going to be gone.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
I always look forward to that.
What is the date on that?
That's May 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Oh, no.
So, and the problem with rock, because you know, I'm sure you've seen probably, but a lot of music tours have been getting rescheduled.
Yeah.
For like the summer, fall.
And that's going to be hard to get that many bands.
You can't. You just can't. Because there's like 70 bands. Like
it would have to be like a special makeup concert with like maybe two of the bigger acts and maybe just a handful of like.
Exactly. That's really all you could do.
Grand tour that it is now. It would be
a
smaller version.
Yeah, you just can't really, because all those bands are gonna have different commitments during that time. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Unfortunately,
oh man, Coaster Gang, that sucks. You still have to show up, right? Or are you paid quarantine to stay away? Because I know there was some reports of like, I think it was Universal team members were saying like, oh, they still had to show up to clean stuff.
I think they went back on that. From what I understand. I think. I could be wrong. And then I know they are paying employees, although I do know someone who works at Busch Gardens.
Yeah, that was a bad situation for them.
He told me only full-time employees are getting paid. So he's a part-time employee for Busch Gardens, and he's not getting paid. So that's definitely bad.
Man, and that's a
oh wow, Knights of Horror, thank you so much for that.
That's a very bad oh, what did I miss?
Do you see that in the chat? You got a little $9 donation there, man.
Oh shoot, I don't see it in my thing. It doesn't show me.
I see it on like the YouTube thing. Well, that's very nice, man. You didn't have to do that, but much appreciated for sure.
Wow, thank you.
Very nice.
I might have to pay that back, buddy. Next live stream, I'm gonna have to pay that back. Wow, that's nuts. I did not see it. Doesn't and on this one, so.
And he also brought up a point here. Before that, he was mentioning about obviously concerts, but also movie theaters.
Yeah, that's a big.
I was curious about your thoughts on this. Do you think this could have a lasting effect on the theater industry? Because I think, you know, the movie theaters, if people are like, oh, they might as well just release it on video on demand.
That is an interesting point that you bring up there, because The Invisible Man and Blumhouse's The Hunt are now live on Apple and Amazon, everywhere. Pretty much you can get a movie.
And also, I don't know if you saw, but Pixar's Onward is now available it's available for digital download, and it'll be on Disney Plus April 3rd.
In April, right? Early April?
Yeah, April 3rd.
Yeah,
obviously Frozen 2 is already on. So
now the trick of this is I don't think have they ever. I know they've released some movies and say like, oh, you can get it on demand and in the theater. I know like a few of the Amazon ones were like that, where you could watch them on Prime or you could watch them in theaters. But this is sort of different in a way of, you know, do I pay to go to the movies and take the time, or are you gonna pay extra and sit at home and watch a movie? I think this could very well change everything. It could work, but they have to find the right price point. You know, some people complained about $20, and some people don't complain about $20.
Yeah, I would not do 20. See, that's the thing, that would kind of price me out, because I only go to the movies on Tuesdays. I go to Regal to see the movies because it's half price at Regal on Tuesdays.
$20 to rent for 2 days. Wow. Do you get to I guess rewatch it as many times, or is it like a one-time playthrough?
I assume you could watch it as many times.
Yeah.
But I don't need to do that. Like, I don't need to, like, I'll watch it once. I don't need to watch it again, like, within 2 days, you know?
Imagine paying $20 and you're like, man, this movie sucks.
Because, yeah, I only pay, like, it's usually, like, $6 for my movies, like, for theater experience. And the theater experience is very unique as well.
But you would gladly pay a little more to watch it at home, but not that much more. Like $6, you'd probably pay what, $10? Maybe that's kind of steep, but
I mean, if someone told me like I can just go to the theater and watch a movie for $6, or watch the same movie at home for 10, I would probably just choose the theater still, just because.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have like a really nice like home theater speaker setup or anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a unique experience, you know.
Yeah, you can watch it as many times in 2 days. Okay. That sweetens the deal a little bit, and also the way Blumhouse and Universal are handling their release with this, of doing sort of this live commentary, like Twitter thing they're doing, where you can watch the movie, and I believe it's happening tonight, right around the time of this. That they have the director from The Invisible Man sort of live tweeting or doing this thing over the movie. So if they kind of add stuff like that along with the $20 purchase, or whether it be a $15 purchase in time, it could maybe entice or help it a bit more. Experience is always better. Yeah.
And see, like with a movie like Endgame, you know, everyone in there is like, well, probably mostly everyone in there is a Marvel fan. So especially like if you're all seeing it for the first time, like if you go on opening weekend or the first week or whatever.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Everyone's
like that.
everyone's kind of getting that experience together, which is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So, and you know, that's like one thing you would lose out on.
It's nothing to match that experience of like seeing like a really damn good movie like in the theater, like that feeling. I mean, yeah, there's movies I've watched at home and I was like, man, that was really, really good, but it's a different feeling.
Yo, what's up, Adam? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, Adam?
How you doing? I hope you're staying safe and washing your hands, Adam. Wash those hands.
Somehow I missed this one. Most of the industry is going to take a really big hit. The European bands are getting hit the worst. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also, I do want to say as well that a lot of bands like who are reliant on like tour and merch income to like pay off the debts that it costs the tour, are really screwed. You know, really they're going to be in debt. So, you know, if your favorite band is one of those bands and they're a little smaller, definitely like go on their website and buy some of their tour merch, because that's like really the best way to help them out. And I think these bands are really going to need it. So,
yeah, there
I think
we
the
go.
only best thing about this is that it motivates me to make more content, because people
that's
want
the right
more.
way. Yep.
That is true. I mean, now is definitely going to be the time, like, in demand for digital content, for sure. And I made a video a few days ago where I was like, I'm not really sure what to post, because I guess like the way my channel is set up these days is like,
that's right, because if the theme parks are down and concerts are down,
and exactly. So I'm not like, I don't really consider myself like a theme park channel or a music channel specifically.
You're like
I just kind of I view it more as like it's kind of like a journal entry almost, like whenever I do something fun.
Yeah, your personality is just like, hey, I love theme parks, I like concerts, and I'm just kind of taking you along with me. Exactly.
Like the way I look at my channel is like, I'm doing it to document my own memories. Like that's really my purpose. Like I'm not trying to make money. Oh, it's Connor FL. I'll put it in the chat here for you. Thank you so much, by the way.
I did promise Connor. I did promise Connor something, so here we go.
Oh, you got it this time, don't you?
There we go.
There it is. But yeah. So the thing is like, I just kind of view it as like just kind of me documenting my life, and other people happen to watch, which is cool. but it's really more for me as just like a little hobby.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there are people who like my content for some reason, so I would feel bad not posting anything for like 3 months, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like I owe them, because I don't really like making like kind of sit down type videos.
Yeah.
I like this because it's just like a conversation.
It's the same thing with I'm seeing with some of the bigger YouTubers. Like I know iJustine, she was talking a little bit about like, you know, because if they can't go to like, you know, Apple does like a release or a convention or something, they can't go to it, then what, unless they get stuff sent to their house, which sometimes they do, but a lot of their stuff is to go to these release parties or these conventions. Like, I guess what else can they do? They can still make videos and talk about something. It's like how we talk about, you know, a theme park ride or something, but we haven't been on it. I guess they just sort of have to take that route.
Thank you, Adam, as well.
Hey, there we
you
go.
Guys,
see,
you guys are the best. Yes, you guys are awesome.
Connor's gonna be eating some subs.
Debating if I should buy System tickets. Dude, System. I'm assuming you're talking about System of a Down. They're like
System. Oh,
probably one of my.
Should I buy a System? Ooh.
Probably one of my like highest bands on my list of bands I haven't seen yet. I've seen like most of the bands I like at least once.
See, I got.
But there are ones that I have not seen yet.
Actually, I got to see them.
They're really high on my list.
Yeah, at
they're really high.
Coliseum.
So. Really?
Yeah, before they tore it down.
Dang.
The old one, yeah.
That's crazy. Like the TD Waterhouse Center or whatever.
Yep.
Wow.
I was on the floor, like right up near
That's
the.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a scary experience, but it was fun.
Yeah,
it was great.
I have tickets for a few things. Obviously, I have Rockville tickets, but I think that's going to get canceled and refunded.
At least you get refunds on everything for the most part.
That's true. Yeah. I have tickets for Slipknot, and so Slipknot's coming in June.
Oh man!
So it's kind of like pushing it.
Where are they coming to? Like
they're playing Amway,
ooh,
and they haven't played Orlando in a long time. Like they usually play Tampa when they come here, but I got like general admission on the floor because A Day to Remember is playing also.
Ooh,
and they're my favorite band of all time.
I might have to see what's up with this one.
But you know who else is playing? It's Slipknot, A Day to Remember, Under Oath, and Code Orange.
You're killing me, man. You're killing me.
It's a crazy freaking lineup, and I got floor tickets because A Day to Remember makes me spend.
Never I would have thought to see those three bands on a tour together.
I know it's kind of interesting. It's kind of random, but I like it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other shows in June that I'd like to hit. I have tickets for Sad Summer Fest in July, which is like some punk bands. I don't know if you've heard of All Time Low.
Yeah. Well,
All Time Low. Yeah. And The Story So Far.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those guys, and then you got Rebel Rock in September, which I think will be fine. But Limp Bizkit's playing that, and I've been waiting to see them for a long time. So
Limp Bizkit.
Let's see. I've seen them, and they put on a great show. I want to see them again. I'm assuming he's talking about System. I also still have to see Megadeth. I've actually seen all of the big four.
I'm trying to think, have I seen
at least
Megadeth?
once?
I can't remember.
I saw Megadeth once at the House of Blues, and they were pretty good. And then I saw them again at Rockville like a few years back, and they weren't as good that time.
Yeah. And
that's because the set list wasn't good. They played a lot of new stuff, and it was like, come on, play Peace Cells. Like,
Peace Cells.
Yeah, Peace Cells and Tornado Souls. The old school.
You have all the like cool stuff, and here I am with like, oh, I had tickets to go see Hamilton. But I
mean, that would have been sick.
Yeah, it would have been, because it's one of those rare Broadway shows that doesn't really kind of come around too often, like every couple of years or something.
Yeah. I get the one good thing with this is that it's happening in the first half of the year instead of the second half of the year.
Segue.
Because like most of the stuff I'm excited for is happening in June or later.
Yeah.
So the only thing, like, The only thing right now that I'm really gonna probably lose out on is Rockville,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because it's one of my favorite events of the year, one of two. Obviously, the other one is Horror Nights.
I mean,
and
you're sad because you're gonna miss out on Metallica, but
well, I'm sad I'm gonna miss out on Deftones. That's for sure. Deftones and Stained. I've never seen Stained.
Oh, that's right. So, you would have got to see Stained.
Man, that's sad. And then I missed out on All American Rejects. They didn't play.
Oh, that's right.
And Simple Plan.
Simple Plan.
Yeah.
Because Disney is closed. Here we go. And have a start on that.
World and most theme parks in Florida closing Sunday evening and remaining shut down until next month. Since the Magic Kingdom opened in 1971, Disney's only closed 4 times because of hurricanes. It shuttered for a few hours on 9/11.
These actions had not been taken, potentially we would have been.
You know it's something serious.
Helping to spread the virus.
Universal Orlando Resort, owned by NBC's parent company Universal, SeaWorld, Legoland, Busch Gardens, Holy Land, all announcing they're also closing Sunday. 126 million visitors come to Orlando every year, including this.
100. What do you say? 126 million. Ouch.
Disney closed like 5 times here, roughly, in like
with
So,
there we go.
Have you been doing anything to like get a theme park fix in? I know too regularly anyway, but like, have you been kind of missing it a little more now that you know that you have like no option to go?
Yeah, I guess I've been sort of more so exploring just YouTube and trying to find a lot of new channels or listening to maybe a lot more podcasts and live streamers who I normally probably wouldn't have found just because I'm usually busy between work and trying to sleep as much as I can and do YouTube as well. But yeah, that's how I've been coping with it. How have you been coping with it? Because you go at least, what, I would say every 2 weeks or so? Or
roughly, yeah. Sometimes more, sometimes... Well, it's usually not much longer than 2 weeks. But sometimes it's a little more. It just depends. But, you know, like, I guess it hasn't fully sunken in yet because the last time I went was... now about 2 weeks ago.
Mardi Gras, right?
Mardi Gras on the 7th. So
which you can find a video on his channel.
Yes, you can. It's a fun one. I really like that one. Yeah, man. Like,
am I not mistaken that Disney just had started? What's the festival now? What's the next one? Because one just ended, one just started, right? Flower and Garden just started, right? Yeah. So that's going to be kind of, I think. That's going to be kind of weird because it just, I think, started like a few weeks ago, maybe like 1, 2, 3 weeks. And now with them being closed, at least for, who knows, for the next month or so, like I don't know how that's going to affect their schedule with that. Are they going to push it, or what can they do with all the food? You know what I mean? Like,
I would yeah, that's a good point, but I would assume it would probably end at the same time because I know Epcot does a lot of festivals. I think for me, like, because it's been 2 weeks now, so I already am like itching to go back to the parks.
Yeah.
But the thing that sucks for me is like I don't even have the option. You know, like I can go 2 weeks without going to the parks, but knowing that I don't even have the option is like kind of weird. I don't like it. I know that's going to be a while probably. So I think because of that, I've been more like sad about it. You know, I was like,
well, because
dang, like now I really miss the parks
of having that kind of on the back of your mind, like, oh wow, I can't go out and go to the parks, like.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame because like this is why it's been so tough, is because my three main hobbies are watching sports, which obviously all the sports are canceled, and including my favorite team, Orlando City, who played. I waited all off season, like 5 months. The season started. We played 2 games, and then boom, season's off for now. Wow. So sports I don't have, and then live music I don't have, and theme parks I don't have. So it's been tough. So I've been trying to watch a lot of content. I went down a like DCP rabbit hole because I was like, you know what? I guess I should just learn how the DCP works for some reason. Oh, you know what? You know something crazy about that?
What?
So I was watching this random DCP vlogger. I think her name is Emily Enchanted, I believe.
Oh, Emily Enchanted. Yeah, I've heard of her.
Okay, so I was like binging her DCP videos, and there was one where she was like filming the castle at Magic Kingdom. Dude, I see myself walk by in the video.
No way.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. But I was like, what the heck? It was the weirdest experience. It was me and Brady.
How weird.
And, I was like, what?
I don't think
that was the most random thing.
I've never had that happen ever.
It was so random, but it makes you wonder how many vlogs or pictures you've been in the background.
It also makes you think, like, who's walking around is a content creator. Like, you never know unless you see them with the camera or talking to a camera or whatever, or filming. You never know.
That's true. I
there's
didn't
a lot
of
of the DCP crowd that does it.
Oh, it's crazy. I was finding these channels who had uploaded like 3 or 4 DCP videos, and that was it. That was the only thing on their channel.
Yeah.
And they had like 500 subscribers. Yeah. I was like, holy crap! There's a huge market for this.
Mm-hmm. And there's some that like I'll start watching, and then I'm like, oh, they just stopped for like the last months, like couple months, I guess, because either work and college, it got so busy, and they just was like, oh, this was just a hobby or something I started out, and they'll just stop doing it like abruptly, and then maybe they'll pop back on, and it'll be like 3 or 4 months later, like, oh, hey.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, that Emily Enchanted girl has like, I think she has like 55,000 or something, like something huge. Like I was like, wow, this is obviously a big thing.
I guess go back in time, Connor would be in the DCP.
Well, you say that, but I could still do it in theory.
Yeah.
So
you could?
I have like,
I don't even know how it works. I guess I know you got to do what, like you have to be accepted, right, and do an interview.
Yeah. So from what I understand, you have to complete 1 semester of college, which obviously I've completed several, and by several I mean more than that. I have like 1 semester left, but you can apply for a program that's like within a year of you graduating. So I'm going to probably graduate fall 2020. So I could do a college program spring 2020, summer 2020, or maybe fall 2020.
Yeah.
Spring 2021. I mean. Summer 2021, and maybe fall 2021. So if I really wanted to, I could do it still. But yeah, you have to like apply, and I guess it's like a pretty basic application because it's an entry-level job for a lot of people. So from what I was gathering from these videos, you apply, and then if your application makes it through the first wave, they send you like a questionnaire of like really easy, like, I work well in groups, strongly agree, strongly disagree, it's one of those. And then you do a phone interview where you really have to sell it, and that's how you get in, I guess. So
then you're accepted. Then you make your video where you're like dancing around or crying or like
getting my role.
I gotta go to Magic Kingdom to celebrate and get a button.
So I was like looking kind of into it. It's very interesting. So there's like 4 different housing areas.
Yeah.
And then they kind of vary in price, but they like take the rent out of your paycheck, but the rent, it's like it varies between like $100 and $150 a week.
That's it.
And they just take it.
That's if the outbreak doesn't happen and they happen to kick everyone out in the
like
program.
they did this semester. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's cool because like the good thing about it really is it's a really good thing to have on your resume, and you can also like extend the program if you're in. I think you can extend to another semester, so you can continue working, making money, and then you can like when you're done you can apply to work at Disney just as like a regular employee.
Yeah, when the program ends, you can just be like, oh, I want to stay on, or I want to do transfer to another department or something. Yeah.
So it's something like I'm kind of considering for I guess it would be spring 2021 probably. It's something to think about, I guess. It'd be interesting.
Well, you would get the benefits of not having to pay for the Disney Pass.
That's true. And I think it's crazy because they like DCP kids, they all like work like 50 hours a week in the parks or whatever, however long they work. And then on all their off days, they go to the parks.
Yeah, that's all they do. Yeah, it's like I'm living this Disney life.
Which I get it because a lot of them come from out of state.
Yeah, and they're like, dude, oh my God, I get to go to Disney all the time.
Dude, if it were me, like I would go, but dude, I could not do it like every off day. There's just no way. No.
You get people like calling you or being like, oh yeah, I'm coming in town. You're like, no, I can't.
Right.
I've already worked there 3 days in a row. I'm not going back.
The other thing is like you have roommates, which is fine, but you have like one or two. I think you can request if like there's someone you know doing it the same semester as you, but that would be really unlikely for me.
Yeah.
So like, I guess it would be random, but I was seeing it was like one room will have like 2 to 3 beds in it. So not only would you have roommates, but you have people sleeping in the same room as you.
Oh.
So that's like kind of a yikes.
Yikes.
That's kind of a yikes.
Yeah, that's kind of a big yike.
I mean, I could probably handle it for like the 6 or 7 months, you know. I probably could. But that is kind of a yikes. And you obviously don't know how your roommates are going to turn out, and I don't know, but I'm still kind of half thinking about it. I don't know. As if the coronavirus is gone. But yeah, like we were saying, you know, that this like future of HHN, how much do you think it's gonna have an impact?
The future of HHN is over. Is done. Is not coming this year. You heard it here, folks.
Oh no.
Live.
Oh God.
No.
Oh no.
You know, like everyone. Oh my God. They like if they were like, yeah, I'm sorry, we have to postpone or like push it back until next year. Like, do you know what would happen?
I don't know. It would just be a mess, that's for sure.
It'd be over. Like, they'd be dead. Like,
Twitter would explode.
Like, people would ultimately go up there and like destroy Universal. But
I feel like.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I feel like I thought I had heard somewhere. I don't know if this is fully true, but I thought I had heard like they start casting in like April this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that might come into effect, but if everything's back and running by like June, I kind of assume it won't have much of an impact. You know, because the thing is like the construction can still happen because those construction companies are like third party licensed, and the thing is like there's going to be a lot of construction work during this time, so they're going to want to take the money. So
who wants the money?
I have a feeling mazes are still being but I have a feeling like the new attractions and the mazes and everything are probably still being built.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to think it won't have that much effect, but it just depends on how long this goes.
But do you think it will push back the announcements? Because being that around I think next week going on last year was when they announced Stranger Things was coming. And I don't think they're going to be announcing anything while the park is generally closed. Because, and most people's, I mean, we would be excited for it, but most people are like, this is all that's on their mind. Like, they don't want to see anything else unless Universal says, like, hey, things are getting better and the park is going to be opening. Then they can do announcements, you know, because they still have, they pushed back the grand opening of the new hotel. The Bourne Supremacy stunt show, that's obviously pushed back now. And I believe, I don't know how they're going to do the announcements. Like, if let's say theme parks don't come back for another month or two, like how are they going to just roll announcements like, you know, in 1 week? Like, hey, we got a whole week of announcements, or, you know, are they going to just stagger them out at that point?
Oh. I guess there's a couple ways they could do it. Like, the difference would be because, let's say the parks open at the end of May, just as a random example. Usually at that point, there's like 4 houses announced, maybe 4-ish,
May, give or take, yeah.
Like late May.
Yeah.
So, I guess they could announce, because in like say June, there might be like 2 or 3 house announcements. Maybe they would just have them happen more often, like one every week, for example. So they might I guess cluster them together more, or they could like bundle stuff. Like I know at 27 they announced all the original houses at once.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could maybe change it that way. And then the other option is they actually do announce something like this month or next month, and they view it as like, hey, let's get some positive press out into the world to make people excited.
Come to think about it, they also had the Secret Life of Pets was supposed to be opening, right? Or at least I
don't know when that was supposed to open.
They had previews or something, but they pushed that, I think, as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I could see it going like one of 2 ways, pretty much. Like, either they wait and they just kind of make the announcements closer together, or they just continue the announcements as planned. Because even like with the first announcement, it's not like tickets go up on the first announcement.
Oh, you mean the general first one? Yeah, it's usually the house announcement, the big one, and like the single tickets go on sale.
Yeah. And so I know like people aren't really going to be buying tickets for anything right now, most likely. But I don't know, if they like put something out there, it might like act as kind of like, it might get buried by the virus news, obviously, but it could also kind of be a little beacon of hope, like something to look forward to. So I guess it just depends. I hope they announce something, because that would just be nice to have something good get announced. Like,
it would be.
It'd be nice to see some good exciting press instead of just sadness.
And so
I don't know. What do you think?
The tricky part is, how do they do this going? Like, it's going to be tricky because how it all depends on how the by September, we would hope that things are contained, things are looking good, at least by, like you said, the end of May. I don't know, how do you prepare an event like this when, like we're touching everything, like we're up close to the scare actors, they're up close to us, we're touching everything in the house. Like it would just be madness to try to do that with if this was still going around, and I would hope not by then, but if it was still just as crazy as it was now, wow, that's kind of a dark thought to think.
I mean, yeah, there's no way they could do it
that way. Yeah.
Which would just ruin the whole year.
It would
be you could just write this year off. Like
you'd be like, well, it's official. This year sucks.
This is the worst year. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but this year officially sucks.
Yeah. So I'm trying to just be like, okay, we're gonna be fine by September. I'm not even, I'll start worrying about it if this is still like in total crisis mode in like July. Then I'll be like, yikes. But for now, I'm just gonna assume that it's gonna happen as normal. So that's how I'm gonna look at it for now. I can't imagine having to lose it. So that's just how I'm gonna look at it for now. So speaking of that, to get away from the coronavirus for a little bit, anyway.
For a little bit.
There's some HHN movie talk.
That's right. Good old Jason Blum.
Speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, is that concept suitable for a Blumhouse movie in the future?
Yes, definitely. We've actually talked about it.
I'm curious about it.
We haven't quite figured it out, but there's definitely a movie in Halloween Horror Nights somewhere.
It's very scary if you're shooting the mini project and the noise from Hollywood Horror Nights is blowing your nights.
Maybe that's
the scary stuff.
Do you think it would be
line producers
haunt, or the event is like the setting, or would it be like a movie about Jack the Clown or the other icons?
I've thought about that, and it's the way Jason Blum, the way he was so excited, where he's like, yes, like it was almost like, yeah, we already kind of have this in works. Like I know he said they've been in talks, but I'm pretty sure this is already like on the drawing board. Like they're either writing the script right now, or they're like getting together like everything they can on how to do this, because it's only the two ways. It's either they're using it, like you said, as a background, sort of like a little movie called Hellfest. I don't want to play too much of the trailer. Don't want to get funny. But if you don't know Hellfest, it's basically about a serial killer that's running around a haunted theme park attraction. Kind of like Halloween Horror Nights, but it's done at a, I believe, sort of like a Six Flags-ish type of park. Yeah, that's the simple idea. They can do something like that, or they could do something like this. I love that commercial.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Now, using the icons it's a little trickier, because we know the icons, but folks out there don't really know who they are. I mean, not to say that people won't flock to the theaters because it's a Blumhouse release, but it's also like, who do they do it on? The director or storyteller or Jack or the caretaker. Jack would be the easiest, but then it would be almost considered like a, or let's not forget Chance as well, but I don't, it's a tricky one. Jack, I think, would be too comparison to It chapter, or Pennywise, but Pennywise is really, really popular, and clown horror type stuff is sort of the hot button thing to do in horror right now.
Uh-huh. I mean, I think the way I see it is like, you could look at any horror movie. Like, I don't know, here's just a random example, right? Scream, because I know you love Scream. Before Scream, you do.
Yeah, I know.
So, before Scream came out, it's not like people knew who Ghostface was and like what he looked like and all that. And he obviously wasn't iconic yet before it came out.
Yeah.
But if, let's say they make a movie on the director, and people just happen to really like it because it's a good movie, then director becomes iconic in his own way with the general public, which would be super like meta, I guess. It's like it would be like a Horror Nights concept becomes a movie, which then becomes a house based on the movie, which was originally based on, you know what I mean? It's like House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, that's just they could. I mean, the easier way is to probably just use Horror Nights as the backdrop. That's the easier route. But I feel like if Blumhouse wants to sort of do this and make multiple movies, it's to do the icon way. But it also brings the point, like, what if we get a not so good Blumhouse movie? You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna kind of suck to be like, oh man, you remember that Jack movie? Oh, that was awful. Like,
oh, that would suck. Yeah.
Like, it's one thing with the icons because all we have based on them is either the commercials or if they have a show at the event or a house or something. But the house doesn't really dampen like the icon for us. It's kind of because I guess the icon has a presence
right
with them, as opposed to like a Freddy, which is just, you know, Freddy is a character, but he has plenty of bad movies. Like,
true,
it's a little different.
But I think the thing is to remember is all of those icons have like pretty extensive backstories that you could make a movie out of pretty easily. You know, like you could do an origin story, or you could just kind of use the character and like for the director, I guess, just to use him as an example again, like you could kind of set up his origins and how he became like a snuff filmmaker. And then you could just have like your random person gets kidnapped, you know, he tries to do the snuff film on the person he kidnapped, like that kind of thing.
Do you feel like and this is going to sound kind of dumb saying, do you feel like the violence in the movie pertaining it close to Horror Nights is a little off-putting, even though we see so much violence at the event anyway? But you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of tricky because like the younger crowd will go see a movie, but they may not go to the event because it's supposed to be 13 and older. But then again, I guess, you know, kids are watching horror movies anyway, so it's almost like, does Universal want Horror Nights as a brand to be represented in a certain way? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess it would depend on how they.
It's not going to be like a R-rated nudity-filled, you know, horror movie, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, R-rated, possibly, but not like it would be something more along the lines of like a slash movie, like Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween. It would be like kind of that level of violence, not like, I don't know, just what's like a really violent movie, you know? My mind's like blanking.
Yeah. And then with the anniversary year coming up, I don't see Blumhouse putting out a movie until maybe 2 years from now, maybe like a year, 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a ways off. Yeah.
Maybe like HHN 32. They might premiere it with the house and stuff. So if they were using an icon, You know what I mean? It would be kind of funny to have an anniversary year with the icons and then have nothing unless they lead up to the icon coming for the following year.
Yeah.
Unless they want to push
I feel like they can make it work
at HHN 35, but that's quite a long ways off.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. I would personally hope that it's like a movie based on the icons as characters,
and not based
not
on
the event as But I mean, either way, to have it represented as a movie would be cool, especially with like a major production company and not just like a fan made movie.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see how they play that. Hopefully, it turns out cool.
That we will. Blumhouse sometimes have hits and sometimes they have misses, but when they do have a good one, they do it pretty good.
That's true. Yeah, I wouldn't be like too worried about it being terrible. I mean, they have put out some pretty bad stuff, like Truth or Dare. Or like, didn't they do Unfriended?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also have put out some really good stuff. So
yeah,
that's pretty much all I have to say on that one.
That was a jam-packed one. That was like, for only having two topics, we crammed it all in there.
Yeah, we didn't have as many topics because there's not really much in the news other than the coronavirus, so that's about all we had to talk about.
Closing.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we had, so that's all right. We stretched it out. We think we did all right.
That we did. Are you ready to close this thing out?
I think so.
All right. I am Zombie CT. You can catch me over on Twitter and Instagram. It's Zombie CT, or you obviously can see my YouTube channel. If you're watching this, obviously you're seeing it already. Connor, where can they find you? I don't know why I was saying that.
Well, Mr. Zombie Chris, they can find me at Connor FL on YouTube. It's a new name, brand spanking new. On Twitter at Connor W, and then Instagram W82. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
That's right, Connor FL, as in Connor, Florida, or Connor W96, or Connor W82.
Yeah, just couldn't get those consistent numbers. You know, just had to have two different numbers.
Well, I was gonna say maybe you can change those to Connor FL, but I don't know if that's gonna work.
I could look into it.
That is it for episode 4, 5.
I don't even know. 4.
Track.
I think it's 4.
I'm losing track this early into the run. I think it's 4. I want to say 4 anyway. Might be 4 or 5. Like that. Yep. That has been it for this episode. Right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you, Knights of Horror, for the $9 donation. I have to pay that back. Thank you, everybody in the comment section, all the likes, the comments, questions, everything. Make sure to check out Connor's YouTube page. Send him some love. And that has been it for the Connor and Chris podcast. Episode 4, maybe 5.
One of these days we'll get a better name for the podcast, I think.
I do believe that's never going to happen.
I do agree, but I'm just going to say that we will.
Yeah. It'll be the running joke.
Yes. Yeah. Every week we got to mention that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Adios. We are out of here.
So long.
We'll be seeing you.